1A match between AvGeek and TommyNTG. We have both our players ready and warming up, so we can go ahead and go to the gameplay scene. Why is it best of 7? Let's look at that, I added the input display. Wow. Well, that's best of 9. Why is it best of 9? Thank you, Osu. Wait, I can fix it. I can scuffed fixed it. Hold on, look at this. Ready? Watch this. Boom. Bang. Wait. Hold on. Bang. Look at that. Hey, I do need to change the cameras, I think. Oop. There we go. There's more down room. Yeah, this is PAL actually. As there we go. More hand cam. You just fixed your 3D printer. It took 45 minutes. It broke in June. You forgot about it. Yeah, ADHD is a really interesting thing. Time to unpin this message and roll a new seed for the players. 7 Delta, 8 Delta, Charlie Delta. Is your seed. We have same piece sets confirmed. We have our GLHFs being exchanged and both players are ready. So we can count down game number 1 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Because here we go with our Division 1 match of the day. These two titans of DAS. And immediately in the opening, AV going to run into a bit of trouble here. We'll be digging early on in game number 1 here. Extended by that T-piece. There needs to be a PAL-only tournament that isn't only DAS. Yeah, I don't think that would work, though. I don't know, I'm not a PAL expert. There's a nice pullback of the T there for AV. And we'll be in the scoring position now. Tommy will take a Tetris. 103,000 at 31 lines. AV 105 at 33. How do I get it to recognize the score? I had a friend who knows how to code Python. Code a script that reads the score on the screen and it then references it to an image of every possible score, like the digits 0 through like F, and says, okay, what is this closest to? As welcome in monthly Tetris, thank you for the raid. just in time for game number 1 of AvGeek versus TommyNTG. In DAS League Season 4. It's Tommy having to do a bit of digging here. Will only be able to get a triple with that bar. Av up decently high, waiting for this bar. As it will finally show its face. Tetris for AV, 228 to 190 for Tommy, who will be playing off of row 1, will burn down. Hello, Catvinity. How do you join DAS League? Good question. I do not know the answer to that question. The season's already going on, so I don't know if it would be possible to join. I'm sure if you ask Hana, little cutie Hana, she would be able to tell you more, as she is the sort of main host of the tournament, the league. Which is probably something as simple as joining the Discord and waiting for the next season, as the season has already started. There's a link to it in an other Tetris service channel in TNP. There we go. Thank you, Arbaro. See, I am not a knower. I'm just here restreaming these two players for the league. As I have been yapping, we do have Tetris happening in the background. 392,000 for AV, 316 for Tommy, so about 100,000 point lead. As monthly Tetris, Thomas, an NES Tetris gamer versus Aviation Geek W159. Very true. I think I can do like this. I don't know. I'll just paste your message. There we go. That is what Arbaro sent. As Tetris for AV. Maintaining that 100,000 point lead now. 507 at 118. 410 for Tommy. So a very suffer game for Tommy here. As we start to approach that level 19 transition. One more Tetris left for AV. And a few misdrops for Tommy here will cause some complications, as AV will Tetris in 577 into the transition. Tommy looking to just survive. His pieces are not helping. Does burn in at 448, so 150,000 point lead for AV. As Tommy will burn out of it, and both players get back to Tetris scoring positions at the exact same time. We are now off on the level 19 speeds. Both players having to do a bit of burning here. As a Tetris for AV 643. Tommy set up, ready, and waiting. There's the bar. Tetris for Tommy 517. But Tetris for AV 671. Nice flat burn there from Tommy. Will get a Tetris 545, so this 150,000 point lead will stay intact for AV, as a bit of weird placements for Tommy will set up a off-center well there, as AV getting into a bit of trouble here. Has to use the bar to open up that hole. And we'll burn this down. Very nice Tetris for both players. 741 for AV into 24. 610 for Tommy. Make that 640 into 24. So 100,000 points in the lead for AvGeek in game number 1 here. Nice pole vault for Tommy. Gets the Tetris. Is AV now the one having to do a bit of burning? A bit of digging here. Will burn out of it, but this is going to let Tommy get back into this game. This 100,000 point lead now down to just 56,000 points as Tommy is set up. AV still having to burn out of this. Tetris for Tommy, 766. And a misshift of the T there for AV is going to complicate things even further. Tommy's still set up. Tetris into the lead. Actually, just shy of it, 801,000 for Tommy, 804 for AV. That Tetris will put Tommy into the lead. As AV still trying to get out of this, a misdrop of the J4. Tommy is going to make both players burning at the same time. But it is Tommy with the lead into 28 now is AV, 822. Tommy is clean once again as well. Actually is not. Has to do just a bit more burning. Triple for AV. Tetris 868 into kill screen. And Tommy with that Tetris 891 will be good for game number 1. That long burn for AV just causing the game as a bit of kill screen play here for Tommy. GG to both players as Tommy will go up 1-0. Great comeback for Tommy that seed. That game, rather. As we have both our players ready and on the same seed, so we can count down game number 2 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. As Nightbot is a little late there. As, oh, look at this. Oh, what is this simul Tetris? Okay, finally deviation happens. That was simul Tetris. Holy. That was cool. He keeps thinking that Tommy has a 1. That's funny. Nice S spin for AV as we stay tied here. Tommy will be the first one to take a burn that the other hasn't. As AV starting to get up high, but will get the Tetris. And we'll take that burn back. Separated by 1,900 points through the first 30 lines there. As it will result in a Tetris-ish lead for AV. As Tommy having to do a bit of burning. Incredible Tetris indeed. AvGusova. As AV staying just that tiny bit ahead. As Tommy running into a bit of slowdown here. I didn't see quite what happened, but AV also running into something very similar, waiting on this bar, and the bar is just not showing. It does finally arrive for both players, and they will both score Tetrises. AV 325 at 64 lines. Tommy 264 at 61 lines. Tommy setting up the T-spin here. Will the TP show up? No, just flat bar zip. And that J, unfortunately, just nowhere to go. It's a nice T-burn, though. But this is going to let AV open up the scoring here. As Tommy has to reopen the well, will do so with that T-piece. And will Tetris. AV back with a 100,000 point lead once again, just shy of it actually, 98,000. 439 at 84 for AV. Tetris for Tommy, 364 at 87. So all that burning letting AV open up a gigantic lead once again. We know from last game that this is not safe. No lead is safe in Tetris. As Tommy opts to fill out the left with the bar. Actually wasn't even Tetris ready. That's why I'm not playing. As a Tetris for Tommy to go to 434, crossing the 100 lines, 530 crossing 100 for AV. Looking at a 600k transition here. Actually, not even potentially, very much so looking at a 600k transition, barring any major disruptions to the scoring. As Tommy will score a Tetris there for 82,000 at 112 lines. AV with that Tetris will cross the 600,000 point threshold. And has 15 lines left before the transition to the 19 speeds. Same with Tommy. So this 100,000 point lead is going to stay just about where it was. Tetris for AV has 3 more left with 2 burns. Nope, I'm dumb. 2 Tetrises left with 1 burn. 2 burn. 1 burn? I can't math. Don't trust Tetris players to math. As Tommy is set up, gets the bar. Tetris in a transition, 597, almost a 600k of his own. But AV 695 in a transition is going to immediately have to take a few burns, but will survive the transition. Tetris 728 into level 20, 627 for Tommy, so a 100,000 point lead for AV. Now, AV doing a bit of burning, so this is going to let Tommy close this gap. As both players skimming to keep the board manageable while waiting for the bar. Tetris for AV and a prior Tetris for Tommy. Tetris for AV and a misdrop of the Z or S, whichever you prefer. for Tommy, so this is going to be a bit of a slowdown. Tetris for AV here. Needs another bar. The left has no burn options. Does get the J to the left, but this board is now very scary for both players. Tommy approaching the top of the board. The square doesn't open up the right-hand side, the left-hand side, and will be done at 7:29. So we will be tied 1-1 now, as AV is already well ahead of that score. Feel free to play this out. This is a very good game. Gets the bar to the right-hand side. Oh, but this bar dependency. Oh, but the bar comes! Tetris for AV, 932. Another one. $9.96, just short of the max out. As there it is, max out for AV. Is playing aggro, gets the bar, Tetris, BO3. Continuing to set up aggro, but where's the bar? Has to take the double. Oh, an endgame drought now. Tetris for AV has one more left before level 29. Will set up for it. Has no burns. Where's the bar? Tetris for AV, 1.180 comp PB for AvGeek. Wow. GG on the comp PB. Crazy Mullen. Yeah, feel free to take a minute after that one. That is a crazy game. That was a crazy game. As AV going to probably go refill on T, if I had to assume. And you can't see it, but AV has named the game after Tommy. You can kind of see the G at the very end. You know, while we have a bit of a break, let me look at the standings for Division 1A. Right now it is Alex and Bendy tied at the top, and Vance and Tommy tied at the bottom. AV and Blue Scooty yet to play a game, so this is AV's first game in Division 1A. And this is Tommy's second, looking to potentially go 1-1. As once AV is ready, we can get game number 3 underway. There's the increment seed. And there is the ready, so we can get game number 3 underway in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. There we go, both players underway. As Tommy with a very uncomfortable opener here. I didn't fully see what happened. But it is going to result in 8 earned lines for Tommy. We'll get a Tetris there, though. As AV having to do a bit of skimming to keep this right side open. These pieces kind of forcing a high left. Good adjustment of the O, though. And is going to opt to just hope she gets a Z, does get the Z, and the square is beautiful for the double. So we'll reopen up this right-hand side with very nice sequence here, but Tommy in a bit of burning, and AV as well, set up with this dirty Tetris on top of the column, but is running out of room. That square doesn't go to the left, and has to burn this down now. As both players doing a bit of burning. Tommy will reopen the right-hand side and have to immediately close it. And AV getting this bar to the right. Tommy will be the first to reopen the right and get that Tetris. So we'll be back in scoring position first. AV will follow, though. So out of the dig situation, it is a almost tied game. Thank you, Ethan, for the subscription. And the usual awa. 169,000 points at 55 lines for AV. 162,000 at 52 for Tommy. So Tommy with the about a Tetris in lines lead. So does have about a Tetris. Yeah, about a half a Tetris lead. As both players back into scoring position. Tommy center welling. Will score the Tetris and go back to the right well. Tetris for AV 262. Tommy 237. And is behind in those lines because AV was burning up so high. That does give a very slight advantage, as AV just unfavorable pieces. Going to force a bit more burning here. And is now on row 2. Tommy with a long bar dependency is going to isolate it and will get the long bar. Tetris for AV on row 2 here, as Tommy with a bit of burning to do. AV as well. And another hole added to the bottom of the stack. As we approach the 100 line mark, is only a triple for AV, but that is a Tetris on row 3, rather. And Tommy, having to continue to burn, will finally open up this dependency. The bar will work well, the J as well, and the T working beautifully. Is now open on the right-hand side, waiting for the bar, as AV is now left welling. Will just be forced to burn out of it. And we'll just burn all the way down, as Tommy will score a Tetris here, going to 335,000. And this line's lead has opened up. But I do believe Tommy's stream is a bit behind, but I will not refresh it mid-game. $388,000 for AvGeek, 383 for Tommy. So very close when the lines are tied. AV wants to go into this with 2 Tetrises, has to burn out of one of them. Tetris for AV into the transition at 437. Tommy going to burn in at 432. So a 5,000 point lead into the transition for AV, and Tommy is still burning. AV Tetrises on level 19 as both players get back to scoring position. Tetris for Tommy, 462. As AV fills the J dependency. Tommy ready, waiting for the bar. The bar is not showing. It will show, though, at perfect timing. Tetris for Tommy. And AV waiting on the bar. There it is. Tetris for AV as well. 504,000 at 157 lines. 494 for Tommy at 151. Another hole being formed in AV's board. As Tommy's board, I look over and something has happened, as this is very jagged, very dependent. But we'll start tackling this. That is going to give AV the opportunity to potentially open scoring, as she's also going to run into a bit of a slowdown here. Perfect bar. And just perfect pieces all around for both players. They will both get out of it at very similar times. And it is AV with a 25,000 point lead, as Tommy, another misdrop, does get the Tetris, though, will take the real-time lead ever so slightly, as both players continue to have to burn here. Tommy's setting up this column 3 well, with a bunch of delayed burns. AV setting up on row 2. The bar shows perfect Tetris to open up the hole, and the lead will go to AvGeek 605,584 for Tommy with a bar dependency in the middle of the stack. Undershifts the bar. Another one needs to come now. Closes it. Needs a bar. Closes it again when the bar shows up. And this is getting higher and higher for Tommy. Opens the well. The S will work wonders. The bar will show dirty Tetris for Tommy. And a Tetris from AV to respond. As we approach the level 29 kill screen, an early shift of the bar for Tommy will cause complications and a slowdown. AV in the lead. This board starting to fall apart for Tommy. Is AV waiting for the bar and the bar just not showing up? Tetris for AV 727 when you see it into kill screen. Tops out there. Can Tommy do anything? I think the answer is no. Sets up and doesn't get the bar. And that will give the lead to AvGeek 2-1 here in the set. Both players running into digs at very similar times. As we have both players ready for game number 4. So we can count it down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Will AvGeek close it out 3-1, or will we go to a decider? We will find out in this game. As I will give Tommy a quick refresh. Don't mind the score. There we go. There. Now Tommy should be refreshed. Tetris for AV. Looks like we missed a Tetris during the refresh for Tommy. As we will be tied somehow. The players caught up to each other in lines and they are exactly tied. As they continue scoring Tetrises at the exact same time, Tommy will take a single to go in the lead by 760 points. And AV going to set up this delayed burn. Oh, this board needs something for the left. The J gets over with the quick tap. Opens up the dependency. The J will work. This is also dangerous for Tommy if he runs out of burn options, as the bar is not showing up. The bar will show. Tetris for AV. Can Tommy get it to the left? Does get the J to the left-hand side, but this board spiraling is managing it, though. Beautiful bar. Nice flat burns here. Nice adjustment of the J. And we'll get this board down with a perfectly timed bar for the Tetris to get this right back into scoring position. 221,000 points for AV. 166 for Tommy. And they are separated by a singular line. So despite all the digging that Tommy had to do, it is only a 2 Tetris lead for AV. And it is now AV starting to do a bit of digging here. As we have a lot of AV supporters in the chats. Delayed burn gets solved. Tetris for AV. Tetris for Tommy. And the lead has closed by a singular Tetris. 34,000 points is the difference. 292 for AV, 258 for Tommy, and I think an undershift of that T for AV. So it is going to cause a bit of complications and a bit of burning that is going to be required. So this is going to allow Tommy to start clawing back that lead, start closing it, as AV, dependent on a bar, is going to turn it into an LJ dependency. Gets the bar to the right-hand side, as Tommy will continue to score Tetrises. Nice J-tuck, nice flat T to adjust for the bar in the window. Beautiful downstacking here displayed by both players throughout this match. Is AV looking to set up this dirty Tetris here? Doesn't want to let Tommy just run away with this game, but it could have been a mistake to go this aggro, as that L doesn't burn. Sets up a bar dependency, but the bar doesn't show up, and AV will top out. And we will go to a game 5. It will be decided in a decider. Tommy, you are good for game number 4. And we have both our players ready for game number 5. And count it down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. The final game of this set and the stream. And it will decide who wins their set in Division 1 for DAS League Season 4. As it will be in very early lead of a single burn for AV. Does have to take a double, but the double is also taken by Tommy. These players playing so close to each other in efficiency. As it's now half a single difference in the scoring. Very fun to see. As Tommy will take a few more burns than AV here. So very early on, there will be a lead for Tommy in virtue of burns. Has to use both those bars to set up, as AV now with a double bar dependency will decide to fill one of them, as no bar appears to be showing up. And of course the bar does now that there is no bar dependency. AV burning out of this. Well, Tommy will get to score some Tetrises that AV will not be able to. As about half a Tetris lead will emerge out of that for Tommy as both players back into scoring positions. Tetris for AV and Tetris for Tommy. So just that 19,000 point lead, 248,000 for AV, 267,000 for Tommy. Past the 50 line mark. As Tommy now having to do a bit of burning. Wants to solve this cleanly, but will not get the option to. Will just decide to burn this down with the bar. Burn it all the way down and get back to that right well. Which has allowed AV to take the lead. Sets up the delayed L-tuck. Will turn it into a J-tuck. And hits the S-spin. Tommy having to do a bit more burning, unable to use that bar for a Tetris. AV will be able to. And it is exactly a Tetris difference between the players. These players so close to each other. Game after game. AV going for the T-spin first. And he'll get the Tetris out of it, crossing the 100 line mark at 399,000 flat. Looking for this L. The L does not show, but a bar will do. As Tommy's still trying to resolve this row 1 Mino, will open that up. And we'll cross the 100 line mark at 379. So AV with a bit of a lead here. 448,000 points for AV. 402,000 points for Tommy. Lead of about 45,000. As we approach the final 19 transition of the game. Of the set. 10 lines till for AV. And is up pretty high. Bar taking its time. Will get it though. 519,000 points for AV. Will take a double. Is now 1 line away. Will decide to put the bar 9. And has to burn in. Tetris for Tommy is also going to burn in 499 into transition for Tommy. This left very troublesome for AV though. Oh, and those pieces! AV is going to be done at 526,000 points. Tommy, you need a Tetris to take game number 5. But there's a drought. Covers the well as the bar shows up. This is not free. Needs 527. The square will help. Bar dependency for Tommy will fill it in with a J. Nice flat burns will reopen the well. Just 4,000 points away. Can do this with line out. And will do so. Is down by 20 points, but that single will do it. And Tommy will take game number 5. I forgot to give him his point for last game. It is 3-2 for Tommy. That was game 5. I forgot to give Tommy his point. That is the set done and over with. Tommy is good. We'll top out there with the bar left. And we'll take it 3-2. As your winner, TommyNTG. And that is all I have. Oh, there's no music on this scene. That's funny. Amazing. As that is all I have for this stream. All we had scheduled. I will go ahead and get these 2 matches reported. But for now, it is time to find if there's anyone to raid to. Let us see. Yeah, thanks for the matches. It seems like we have MathWiz restreaming a match, so I think we'll go ahead and raid over to MathWiz. Thank you, players, for letting me take your match. Go have a good time at MathWiz restreaming some CTM. I will be back when my next stream is, whenever that is, probably Stack Fox related. I'll see you all then. Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.